Denver 7 On Demand is brought to you by Ferguson and BAC Appliance Center, the best in bath, kitchen, and lighting for your home.
I'm Shannon Ogden with the latest from Denver 7. A plan to demolish Columbine High School and build a new school brings some mixed emotions across the community. Now, this is a drastic step that comes 20 years after the deadly school shooting. And since then, we've heard so many different opinions, and that's why we're going 360. Denver 7's Jennifer Kovaleski shows us multiple perspectives.
Source of origin for this national contagion of school shootings.
What does a new Columbine look like? And what will it mean for a school built on strong traditions?
There's a deep sense of pride that comes with Columbine.
With a past it can't escape.
Is it time for us to demolish that building and construct something else for that community there?
The Jeffco School District acknowledges there are no guarantees, but says the morbid fascination with the Columbine shooting has only grown, reaching record levels this year during the 20th anniversary. For Superintendent Jason Glass, this is about creating a safer environment for Columbine students, and what school safety experts now recommend after shootings like Newtown and Parkland.
So I think if we could rewind, and knowing all that we know now, would we have demolished the building in 1999? We may have.
Which is why in this letter to the community, the district says it is exploring demolishing Columbine and building a new one close by, keeping the same name, same mascot, and storied traditions. They would ask taxpayers for up to $70 million to pay for it.
The school Columbine represents hope to people all over the world, especially to those who've gone through a shooting for themselves.
For the people who survived Columbine, the news came with shock and mixed emotions.
I mean, my senior year after the shootings, it was the worst and the best year. And part of that was going into that building, was being able to go back in, reclaim that building as a community together and say, they're not going to take this from us.
Well, Columbine survivor Devin Adams told us it's an interesting idea, but I'd rather see those funds used to help catch up on the over $1 billion in deferred maintenance on Jeffco schools. Craig Scott was a sophomore at Columbine at the time, and his older sister Rachel was killed in the shooting. He told us, I don't think they should. CHS is a really nice school. It'd be such a waste. Former Columbine principal Frank DeAngelis says he's in support of exploring the idea.
I do like the idea, exploring it. I really do. If it does move forward, then that's where I would consult with the family.
Jeanette weighed in on our Facebook page. As a longtime teacher in the district with the current salary, I refuse to support any further measures until teachers are valued. Darlene says tearing it down won't change history, while Michelle wrote they should have torn it down 20 years ago. And let's be frank, there really is no easy answer. The district says it wants to honor the community, which is why it's taking feedback through this online survey. But 20 years later, the conversation is about what now, and will a new Columbine really solve the problem?
If Jeffco and our community say no, we want to keep the building as it is, then that's what we'll do. Continuing the status quo is an option.
If this can prevent, again, another attack in our community or somewhere else, then obviously all of us Columbine students are for that.
Jennifer Kovaleski, Denver 7.
And the family of a Columbine survivor is starting a memorial fund for victims of mass shootings and gun violence. Austin Eubanks was injured in the shooting, struggled with the effects of the trauma and grief and addiction. Well, he died after dedicating his life to helping people recover from trauma. His memorial fund will continue that vision, creating a refuge for victims of gun violence. Contributions can be made at austineubanks.com. That money will be used to fund and develop the program. Eagle police have not yet identified a rafter who died floating on the Eagle River Thursday. First responders say there were 5 people on board when the raft hit some rough water and flipped. All 5 on board were thrown into the river. The victim was found near the Eagle Bend Apartments in Avon. He has not yet been identified. Well, right now, mountain snowpack levels are at 500 to 600% of average. That means high water levels and dangerous conditions for rafters and for kayakers. Colorado Parks and Wildlife is warning people to be careful. They say you should always wear a life vest, even if you are experienced. Right now, the Barker Reservoir is spilling over and will increase flows in Boulder Creek. Now, this happens every year as the weather gets warmer and stream flows increase from runoff. Barker typically starts spilling over mid-May, late June, depending on weather and snowpack. Now, runoff starting a little late because of our cooler spring. One suspect in the STEM school shooting was in court today, but the big story was what was happening outside the courthouse. Dozens of people gathered wearing STEM Strong shirts in support of Kendrick Castillo. Kendrick died when he rushed to the gunman trying to save his classmates. Well, both of the suspects face murder charges. No new details were revealed today, but a judge did schedule a preliminary hearing for September. 2 teens missing with stolen guns tracked down by police. Police found 15-year-old Caden Martin in Conifer early Friday morning. And they say he broke into a relative's home and stole guns and ammunition. Police say they found 4 of the 6 missing guns. Officers also arrested 18-year-old Isaiah Linez with him. Both teens are facing several charges, including burglary and theft. Denver police are looking for 2 people possibly involved in a shooting near 40th Street Light Rail Station. They want to question these 2 men. Now, officers were called to the shooting early Thursday morning at 42nd and Garfield. One victim was shot and later died of injuries. Well, Context 7 is once again looking into claims against a contractor accused of not showing up and not finishing the job he signed up to do. In this case, multiple women say they were taken for thousands of dollars by a concrete and landscaping company. Denver 7's Jason Grinauer tracked down the contractor to hear his side.
Some rocks, some trees, some other bushes.
Pete Gonzalez can't wait for her new backyard.
You know, a nice place for my family to come and visit me.
The problem is how long she's been waiting.
I hired him the first part of January.
She sent 2 payments totaling $24,000 to contractor The Outdoor Room.
He always kept claiming he was going to come out and finish the work. He was going to have a crew here. I never saw a crew.
This is what has been done in the last 3 months.
From January to April, owner Miguel Hernandez poured concrete for the patio and walkway.
The rest of this, nothing was done.
Problem is, this story isn't unique to Gonzalez. It's not even unique to this street. Just a half block away, another neighbor, same contractor, same story. The BBB has multiple other similar accusations against The Outdoor Room and has graded it an F.
They were saying the same thing. He comes in, you know, really sells himself to you, then he takes a deposit, and then you may never see him again.
That's it's not true.
I spoke to Hernandez over the phone, standing in one of the backyards that's still far from finished.
The truth is, the weather put us behind. The weather put us behind. Permits and all that crap that came into play as well.
Both women say they fired Hernandez after waiting 3 to 4 months each for their jobs to be finished. Both have now hired other companies to fix and finish that work.
This can't happen to any more people. It's got to stop. Something's got to be done about this guy.
Is there anything else you'd like to say as far as our news story that we're working on right now in regards to this?
Yeah, it's just f***ing stupid. That's what I want to say. F***ing stupid.
In Lakewood, I'm Jason Grenauer, Denver 7.
Now, Pete's already filed a civil lawsuit. Her neighbor also is taking legal action, and in response, the contractor told Denver 7 he plans on taking those 2 to court himself. Denver Skyline Park Beer Garden is now officially open for the season. It'll be open through October 12th. The city officials have been cleaning up the park after complaints. The city says they do have a plan now for patrolling the park at night and a new team in place to pick up trash, to power wash it, and make sure there's no one there after hours. Well, we're just days away from the biggest concert in Mile High Stadium history. This Saturday, Garth Brooks and 80,000 plus fans.
I got to tell you, every trip to Denver is like this. Ever since day one at Grizzly Rose. I mean, you got to remember, one of our first 5 gigs we ever played in our life was right here. First single mentions Denver in it. So since day one, this place has kind of been taking care of us.
I'm glad to hear that. So listen, even if you're not going to the concert, there's a chance you will feel the effects of it. This is a live look at Mile High Stadium right now. So expect a lot of congestion and backups because of the concert, because not only is the concert sold out, parking is sold out. So people will be using the lots at the Pepsi Center, Rarea Campus, Aquarium, any place there's an open bit of concrete or tarmac. You also might want to think about public transportation. RTD will increase light rail service to the Mile High station. Okay, now for your weekend forecast from the First Alert Weather Center. Well, you know, it's not snowing. That's something. However, it's going to get a little bumpy tomorrow late in the day and then much cooler on Sunday before popping back up to where we should be the first of next week. This has been your Denver 7 On-Demand Update. Thanks for checking us out. We'll have another one for you later. And download the Denver 7 app for breaking news and alerts. I'm Shannon Ogden.